Did Bruno Mars really walk into Las Vegas and walk out carrying a $60 million debt? It's the kind of headline that instantly grabs attention, and that's exactly why it spread so quickly. The rumor exploded across social media, blogs, and entertainment circles. And even after Bruno himself denied it, the conversation didn't slow down. If anything, it only made people more curious. So where did this story actually begin? It all started with a report from News Nation. According to their claims, Mars had been gambling heavily during his Las Vegas residency with MGM Resorts International. The report suggested he had racked up an alleged $60 million debt and hinted that MGM essentially had leverage over him because of it. From there, the narrative took on a life of its own. Very quickly, a theory formed. People began speculating that Bruno's residency at Park MGM wasn't just about performing, it was about repayment. The idea was that every show he performed, every sold-out night, was helping him chip away at that massive debt. It sounded dramatic. It sounded cinematic. And most importantly, it sounded believable enough to go viral, but then came the response. MGM didn't hesitate. They publicly shut down the claims, calling them completely false and misleading. The company made it clear that their partnership with Bruno Mars is built on mutual respect, professionalism, and long-term collaboration, not financial control or hidden obligations. Still, even with that denial, the rumor didn't disappear. And the reason is simple: people love a good story, especially when it involves massive numbers and celebrity lifestyles. So let's actually break those numbers down. If $60 million in debt were real, it would be devastating for most entertainers. Careers have ended over far less. But Bruno Mars operates on a completely different financial level. His estimated net worth is around $175 million, built through years of consistent success. We're talking about hit albums, global tours, songwriting credits for other major artists, and lucrative brand partnerships, and then there's his performance income. Bruno isn't just a popular artist, he's one of the highest-paid live performers in the world. Reports suggest he can earn between $1 million and $3 million for a single private performance. That means one night on stage could cover what most people make in a lifetime. Now factor in his Las Vegas residency. His shows at Park MGM have reportedly generated over $90 million annually. That's not just impressive, it's elite-level earning power. When you actually do the math, the idea of a $60 million debt starts to fall apart. Even if, hypothetically, it existed, Bruno would have the ability to clear it faster than most people could imagine. But here's where things get more interesting. Despite already achieving massive success, Bruno Mars has continued extending his Las Vegas residency multiple times since 2021. And that's what sparked a new wave of speculation. Fans began asking a different question. Is Bruno staying in Vegas purely because he loves performing there? Or could there be a deeper reason? That question led people to draw comparisons to one of the most iconic figures in music history, Elvis Presley. Back in the 1970s, Elvis became closely associated with Las Vegas. He performed there extensively, and while those shows were legendary, reports later suggested that financial pressure and possible gambling habits played a role in keeping him there longer than he may have originally planned. It created a narrative of an artist tied to the stage not just by passion, but by obligation. So naturally, some fans began connecting the dots. Could Bruno Mars be experiencing a modern version of that story? Instead of rhinestone jumpsuits, it's silk suits and smooth choreography. Instead of the 1970s Vegas scene, it's a modern, high-production residency. But the underlying question remains the same: choice or necessity. The truth, however, appears far less dramatic. Unlike Elvis's era, today's music industry is built differently. Artists like Bruno Mars have far more control over their careers, their contracts, and their financial decisions. Residencies in Las Vegas are no longer seen as a last resort, they're a strategic move. They offer stability, massive income, and the ability to perform without the physical exhaustion of constant global touring, and Bruno seems to be thriving in that environment. His shows are consistently sold out. His performances are praised for their energy, precision, and production value. And most importantly, he keeps coming back, something he likely wouldn't do if there were negative circumstances behind the scenes. There's also another angle to consider. Bruno Mars isn't just a performer, he's a brand. Every appearance, every show, every high-profile performance adds to his value. And speaking of high-profile, he recently performed at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday celebration. This wasn't just any party. It was an elite event, reportedly costing well over $1 million. Think about that for a moment. Artists struggling with debt don't typically headline exclusive, multi-million-dollar private events. That level of demand signals something very different. It signals power, influence, and financial stability. So where does that leave us? On one side, you have a viral rumor fueled by speculation, dramatic storytelling, and the internet's love for controversy. On the other side, you have verified facts, consistent earnings, strong partnerships, and a career that continues to grow. At the end of the day, whether people choose to believe the rumor or not, one thing is clear. Bruno Mars remains one of the most bankable names in the music industry. His ability to generate revenue, sell out shows, and command massive fees puts him in a league that very few artists ever reach, and maybe that's the real reason this story gained so much attention. Not because it was true, but because it felt like a rare glimpse into a world people don't fully understand, a world where millions of dollars move behind the scenes, where rumors can sound just as convincing as reality, and where one headline can shape public perception overnight. But if you look closely, the reality is much simpler. Bruno Mars isn't performing because he has to. He's performing because he can, and because the world is still willing to pay top dollar to watch him do what he does best.